Welcome back, sleepers. I'm SS Cannon, and here we are again with well, what should be wrapping up to a finale. I feel like I've said that a lot of times now, but we're actually in the thick of the DLC, right? We have 2 episodes left, and after that, unless they randomly drop another one, or there's more after that I don't know of, we come to the end of this series. But I've gone ahead and just kind of played through the couple cycles that we're waiting before episode 2 actually started up, so we're actually going to get into that right here, right now. So let's not take up too much time. Let's see what the eye has for us this time. 73 cycles, yeah, we have a lot of cycles. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. The eye. It hit you like a wave, a white edge breaker roaring inland with the force of the entire ocean. The impact is a screaming brightness, blanking out everything. Behind it is silence. You float in silence, suspended. No, you do not float. You are the silence. It has filled you up. It has emptied you out. You cease to exist. Time passes, so you do not feel it passing. Then something flickers in the silence, and then something moves. That something is you. Open your eyes to a metal ceiling of flickering lights. You feel the floor around you, patting it with shaking hands. You assemble an image of yourself lying on the back in a corridor. You shake all the silence, sit up. What was that? You glance around looking for a sign, some change, damage on the wall, shouts in the distance, fire and fear. Nothing's changed. The silence sits around you like fog. You try to think again, furrowing your brow. How do you think again? It doesn't seem so easy anymore. You force the pathways to light up, the databanks to grant access. You feel like a fraction drive, starting up after a long shutdown in cold vacuum. And silence. And the silence was negation. A disassociation so absolute the electrons shed their tethers and consider new paths and orbits. All things were possible, but none could be achieved. It was only a moment, but in that moment time ceased to function. A memory/image comes to you, one from a moment before the wave hit. You squint as you imagine it, trying to cohere its blurry form. A broken skeletal ring, the eye, and then a vast arc approaching it, a razor-edged white curve, the wave. The wave approaches the eye. The eye spins, turning each part to face that vast white edge. You recognize the skeletal data cloud forms, the bright market, the low end, the greenway, the waste, then the wave hits just as the flotilla. The cordon turns to face it, and after that everything is silence. You open your eyes again. That is the epicenter. But of what? So something's happening in the flotilla. Oh, peak. Oh, okay, it's cool. I wasn't sure we'd have just like completely new groups on, but we might have some new people. But at least we still got peak. Even before you reach the cordon, the damage is obvious. The blinking red light, the drones, the tugs, all are gone. Half the cordon frame has also been shorn away, perhaps through the impact of some failing ship. People push past you in the corridor, both having staff and contractors clearing the cordon. I feel like they're gonna be way too busy on the move for whatever the hell just happened. So just push forward. You push through the flow of people, and despite a few suspicious looks, they offer no resistance. The further you pass the cordon, the less people you see. You can see a few sections have been closed off, their bulkhead doors sealed and red warning lights puncturing the corridor, but otherwise, most areas seem functional. Suddenly feel a hand fall on your shoulder. Having security, you should have known better than wandering into this place. You brace yourself as you turn. Sleeper! Peek embraces you as you turn. What are you doing here? Did you see the cordon go down? Did Esh speak with you? Pete glances around. You can see that you're panic. Man, I don't know what's happening. That makes 2 of us. Esh left without saying anything. Pete runs a hand through their hair. I was away from the ship, and when I got back, she'd taken it and gone. Then I saw the damage to the cordon. Pete looks at you and with wide eyes. What if this is some hazardous attempt to clear the flotilla, the scale of the refuge ship? It's like, God. We can't just jump to the conclusion, shall we? We need actual facts and such, or we're just gonna ensue more panic. And like, people, what do you know, Sleeper? All I know is that something knocked me out. It's like, yeah, Pig frowns. I didn't feel anything. They paused to think. A signal that only affects the electronic system, perhaps. An EMP would have taken out most of the station, but Pig runs a hand through their hair. I don't know what you're saying, Sleeper. That doesn't sound... They look away down the corridor for a moment. Look, I had to find Ash. I'm sure you felt something, but we can talk about that later. They settled down the corridor. I can't sit around talking any longer. Find me on the Flotilla. I'm gonna find a way to Ash no matter what. With that, they rush away into the depths of the corridor, leaving you behind. Seems like you'll need to follow if you want to get any answers. I sure would like some answers. The corridor, having its quarantine. I just want to look down here. That's the waste. I gotta appreciate it. I got a pretty decent set of die here. Pretty decent set of die. It's available. I have one upgrade point. It's not great. The Cordon, Habitus Quarantine. You find a small shuttle scavenging supplies from the Cordon to take back to the Flotilla. They'll take you too if you bring some scrap along. Alright. You know what? So it looks like, yeah, new section. But before I do any of that, I only have 1 energy. And I sure would like more. So I got across the room over. Yeah, I'll see my boy Memphis real quick. Get a little snack, Actually, I have one. I don't know about that. Oh, here, stop by, feed the cat. I am glad I decided to gather some scrap in the in-between time. You know, since I was just killing cycles until the new section started, so. Scrap, here's some scrap. I have now access to the Flotilla. Alright, anything in the eye on this side? Currently no. Alright, the Flotilla. Ooh, shifting ship systems and social structures. The only way to navigate the Flotilla is by rolling up your sleeves and helping out. And haul supply. Or do damage control. Risky, dangerous. Getting necessary supplies each ship has needs is a huge task. Joining the hauling team is the simplest thing you can do. They've hit systems more than anything, especially those in the ship, so there's 1,000 tiny repair jobs to be done. This could give me, since the interface thing, possibly a bit of money on top of stuff, so let's put on this. They both get the same +2, so that's fine. You know, a 4 is a 5, a 5 is a 50-50, 50-50. Positive, nice. These are a little risky. These are not. So this is a 50-50. I get it right here. We can end it all right here. We can be all over. Yes! And we got 5 cryo. There we go. We are now friends of the Flotilla. Alright. Soul and Peak. Let's get a bit of soul. Someone told me I should be thanking you. The voice comes from behind you, cutting through the chaos of the crowded, cavernous bay. You freeze. What if it was Ethan? What if Ethan, like, this is where Ethan left? He left here, joined the Flotilla, sort of thing, to get away from the gangsters that he owed money to, and he's reformed. Don't be afraid now. I've been hunting you, sure, but for all the best reasons. You turn to see bright eyes set in a rough face framed in rusted metal. Soul. Oh, that's right. Soul's the leader here. I remember that. Soul hands out his hand, the other clamped firmly around a knotted wooden cane. Yeah. Ash just talked about you. Yeah. I remember. He grips you firmly with a heavy and callous hand. Forgive me. As soon as I saw you, I knew who you were. Well, I am a sleeper. I mean, it's probably not that difficult to figure me out. So puts a hand on your shoulder. I've been told a sleeper was part of the supply run that came in several cycles ago. You know, it's a very welcome back, and we all thank you for it. Walk with me, sleeper. Soul sets off through the bay, his partial suit hissing and creaking as it helps carry him through the busy crowds. He knows people making way for you and Soul, standing back and letting you pass. You pass a makeshift kitchen, steaming pots of heating elements, a restless queue collecting meals. The algae that came through isn't exactly a full meal, but with what we have here, we've been able to make it work. You see a ladle of greenish stew dished out. The color is something, isn't it? Soul smiles. Soul leads you to a larger bay, into a corridor lined with storage rooms that are now serving as dorms. You see someone filling a metal container from a standpipe, the water gushing out readily. Soul nods to the person as he passes. Just a little further now. Soul leads you into a freight elevator and whistles to some unseen operator to start it up. It jerks into life, and as you pass through the layers of the ship, you see people on every level. Supplies crammed in every available space, and sparks leaping and bursts as the ship is reshaped and modified to sustain its population. At Havenage, we're expecting an exodus from the Flotilla. The flux event has put a stop to that. Soul stretches. Some have crossed to the eye, but many just to gather salvage or score a hot meal. So the pressure on the supply is shrinking, but not like I'd hoped. With the flux reaching all the way out here, people are starting to understand that our journey might not be over. Soul stares grimly ahead. Suddenly the freight elevator screeches to a halt, and Soul leads you slowly out into a wide room with chairs and terminals, ringed by a mezzanine and with a glass roof above, showing the distant hub and the far curve of the eye beyond. The people at the terminal nod to him as he enters. I mean, people know this, man. It's all you. It's like, yeah, that's right. The pilgrim seed is mine to care for. He leads you to a railed platform at the center of the room and stops. She chose me, so to speak. Well, at least her crew did, and I do my best to serve him. Soul looks around the bridge of the ship, a pained expression on his face. I'll admit that the responsibility isn't one that suits me, though we rarely get to choose such things. He glances back at you. But you, Sleeper, from what I understand, you chose to try to help us here, is that right? I mean, I was just helping out the boy, the fucking squad, y'all. Yeah, of course, some fine friends. But I have to ask you, Sleeper, why are you here now? Soul leans back, and you feel his eyes on you and he's like, really? Yeah, I'm kind of here because I want to know more, like, because, yeah, I just sort of blanked out. Knowledge is more important. I want to know more, Soul muses. And why would you think we could tell you something you don't know? So, there are thousands of people here on the pilgrim seat, Sleeper, and there's thousands more on the Flotilla. He leans against the railing. A lot of them are looking to me to provide some future for them, some path out of the dead end we got into. And this cycle, this very cycle, the thing we've been running away from, it just caught up with us. So these people are scared, Sleeper, and they're looking for me for reassurances. And then, on the same cycle, someone tells me they see you on board. A sleeper, the same sleeper, they reckon, that wanted so strongly to send the ship past the coordinate and see us. Soul scratches at his beard. So the first thing I wanted to do was thank you for that, for your interest, he pauses. But the second thing I wanted to do is to find out what you want from us. Soul hisses and creaks. I think that's fair, don't you? Soul thinks deeper. So what is it? Yeah, I was like, me, I'm here for knowledge, right? Because if I'm here on the eye, and if something is happening right here in the Flotilla that's apparently going to be affecting the eye in the future if I sow this weird premonition feeling that I just had waking up in the middle, or maybe I wasn't even asleep, who knows? So yeah, I need to know what's happening around Ember. Someone at the terminal calls out to Soul and he shouts some orders back. He turns to you. Apologies. He smiles at us. I tell you what, Sleeper, let's you and me make a deal. You want information, I understand that, but I have a list of needs longer than the rim in the eye itself. He grimaces. So you do some things for me and then we can talk about what's been happening in the system, and I'll answer all your questions and then some. I may be the captain of the Pilgrim Seed, and she is certainly the biggest ship in the Flotilla, but not the only captain here. We have ships here from each of the moons. We're in the Ember's Hearth, but there's others from Ember's Song and even Ember's Step. The moons have been at each other's throats, Sleeper. With what the pressure of the flux, the bad blood from the old days. We aren't exactly all in alignment. What I need is a way to stop things escalating, for the crews of these ships and their captains to feel happy and comfortable enough to forget old rivalries and past crimes. He flinches at something. Those from Ember Step, well, they've always been proud, but the pride seems to be at the barrier to compromise right now. The last set of supplies I sent their way, they refused. Meanwhile, I have a supply shuttle at the docking axis and Ember sawing ships scattered at, but they've been taking far too many cycles to unload. Maybe if you're heading that way, you can look into on them. I'm no politician, Sleeper, but if I don't... Soul stops. He leans back and flexes, his suit screeching. He groans a little, and you see the weight of the flotilla sitting on his shoulders, the suit the only thing keeping him vertical beneath all that pressure. Look, you'll see for yourself if you go. Meet the others, Sleeper. See what they need. Keep them aligned. He speaks through the pain. His voice shifts. Nigga, are you good? Not really. But as long as this thing holds, I hope so good to see. You are what you appear to be, Sleeper. He smiles. His half smile despite the pain. Because I'm not sure I can take any more bad news. Plus, there's plenty to be done here on the Pilgrim Sea too if you have a moment to pitch in. There's never enough around here. That's something I have learnt the hard way. Soul says onto his king, the pain visibly receding. Alright, I have 1,000 things to attend to now, Sleeper, so you'll have to find your own way out. And with that, Soul sits at his terminal with slow and careful movements. You head back down to the freight elevator, and as you do, you see again the layers and layers of chaotic light this vessel, and all the vessels of the flotilla hold. New drive, flotilla support. Yeah, help. Oh, so much fucking help. I just want to see. Pilgrim Sea, what do they need? They need supplies. Whenever Ash got her supplies through the corridor, and Pilgrim Sea and her first need more. For this initiative Pilgrim Seed, even with agriculture pill, a supply of Matsutake to fill the gap. I just happen to have 4 Matsutake right here. And then this is, oh, let's close that. This gives +3 to heart survival. It's safe, it's +2, which means it's 4, so there's a 75% chance of good, so that's actually pretty good. Step Song and her, stability. Oh, yeah. This shouldn't be much of an issue. Is that, what's this? Docking access. Help unload supply. Unfinished business. Soul shipment of supply says partially unloaded. The crew absent. If you want to help, the best way is just to finish the job. Alright, +2 on positives. So I can probably knock that out, possibly in 3. That's good. I'm gonna have to talk to Aki, she's see what the hell she wants, but let's see what Peek's up to. As you walk into the bay of the climbing briar, the familiarity of space overcomes any trepidation. It feels good to be back, and the return feels earned, especially after all the work it took to figure out a route through the flotilla's jumble of ships that might lead you to the blue streak. You see Ash and Peek immediately, sitting at the back of the bay, deep in conversation. Their closeness causes you to stop, suddenly aware that you might be interrupting something private. Peek is gesturing wildly at Ash starts out in the middle distance, hunched over. As Peek tries to get her attention, she spots you. Sleeper, Ash nods. Incredible work back there, she smiled. Sorry I couldn't wait for you and Peek, but the moment I saw the cordon go down, I had to get in here. That's right, she's exhausted, so it's better afterwards, so we didn't get to talk about it. Peek shakes their head. Leaving before looking, as usual, Peek smiles, but I'm glad we're all reunited. To be honest, Peek adds, I can't believe it. The Flux event knocked the entire cordon system offline. The flotilla is free and the Havnage are backing off. Peek smiles at you. You must be our good luck charm. It's not a good thing. Yeah, it's not good. Especially with what I just learned from Soul. It's like we don't need old rivalries cropping back up here in this new location, just ruining everything. Well, in this case, since I had to agree with the Sleeper. The Flux may have bought me my freedom, but the cost for the flotilla systems is significant. And if Havnage weren't panic enough, Ash glances off in the distance. I still would love to know what exactly is happening. It's like hard to tell. It's some kind of disruptive wave that only affects electrical systems, Peek chips in. Typical systems are screened against radiation interference, but this system seems to be dulled, but not stopped by these defenses. Basically, the crisis continues. The cordon may be down, but this brings a whole other set of problems. Ash paces away. You should tell them, Ash. Peek glances at her. Please. Ash doesn't respond. Tell you what, you stare at her back, waiting for a response. Please, Ash, haven't they shown they can be trusted? Peek nods towards you. Ash turns her arms folded tightly across her chest. She goes to start and then stops. You can see the anger in her eyes, but you realize it's not directed at you or anyone else. She's angry at herself. I brought weapons to the flotilla, she hollers, and now they're gone. Oh, What? First, you brought weapons to this place and you lost them? These people are from all the different moons of Ember and they are not happy with one another. And this is definitely rising tensions. And now they have weapons. Oh no, this is bad, this is bad. You suddenly remember the sleek crates that were tucked in the bay marked with a yellow sigil. The one Edge told you were just supplies. What do you mean, God? What do you think, Edge does? Someone lifted in from the ship bay while I was unloading supplies, she says. At least they're in the hands of the Flotilla now. That's not good. Because either they go to war with each other, or they try to go to war with Havenage. In either way, it's bad. It's all bad. Piggy looks at you. She knows this is a bad move, Sleeper, I promise you. They glance back at her. She's just too proud to admit it. Yeah, what now? How we? Like, Pig looks at that. She finds them and she gets them back. I'm like, shouldn't we help? Edge turns. It's okay, Sleeper. I don't want anyone getting mixed up in this. This is my responsibility. She looks away. Plus, you and I have work to do. I want to understand the flux, Sleeper. To study it. Peek's eyes lights up. The thing is changing the entire system, causing problems across the inner system, driving refugees off Ember's moon, and now it's here. And if we don't do something about it, it's a problem for all of us. I can see more immediate problems, Edge sniffs. Piggy ignores her. I've been looking at the networks, and when the flux event hit it, changed things. It shoveled systems, corrupted nodes, and broke open data stores. Hey. They take out a slate and show you some of the flickering polygons. Some of these flux nodes have appeared near the epicenter of the event, but I can't get access. You, however. I saw the way you worked with data when we were preparing for the run. I think you can get into these things. I want you to find a flux node and bring me anything that you can extract. They come and go, but most can be found in the barely functioning network of the waste. Hey, I'm very familiar with the waste. Perhaps together we can find something that might point us to what the flux is and where it comes from. I'm trying to understand the flux because it affects me too. And I have not worked this hard to be able to like maintain my own physical form just for this to take out my consciousness. And it's very important that we take care of it. And I knew you'd agree. It just looks indignant. Don't waste too much time chasing ghosts, Sleeper. There are people in the Flotilla that need any help they can get. I need to help them too. I'm sure Sleeper can do both. Oh god, so much work. I'll see you here when you have something. Good hunting. And they wave you out as Ash stomps away to make plans of her own. Alright, so on top of that, I gotta study the flux. Which so it isn't here, but is, I said near the waist, which is back there. And then we have Aki. Emberstep Refuge. See what Aki wants. In a strange sight given the time spent the green way to see a greenhouse choked in red dust. It piles up along edges, gathering in curving ways, and is carried by some unseen wind to whirl in front of the glass ceiling. It is a desert in miniature, a captured landscape of iron-rich sediment and unseen life. Beautiful, isn't it? The remark comes from another figure standing at the viewing window, so quietly that you hadn't noticed them. Did they just arrive, or were they here before you were? The cloth swaddled form reveals little. You know, I do think deserts and stuff do have their sense of beauty and stuff, right? It's something just about the single kind of monotonous kind of color and just feel of it that it looks almost tranquil, right? The just vast space of it, all of it just there in that moment sort of thing. So yeah, I do think a desert can be quite beautiful. It is. They say nothing. You catch a glimpse of a pale face among the thick material, dark eyes glittering in the red reflected light. They turn to you as dust swirls. Aki, they smile a tight smile. You're not from the Flotilla, am I right? Technically I'm from wherever SNRF is, but I do technically live on the Eye. I mean, I have actually a lot of houses in the Eye. I'm doing quite well for myself. I live on the Eye. But that's not where you're from. She stares in the greenhouse. Everyone is from somewhere, whether they wish to be or not. The red dust glitters in her eyes, whether it is a good place to be from or not. Aki gathers her cloak around her shoulders against the cold. What brings you to the wind's long shadow? That's what this place is called? It's like the ship. Aki looks at you curiously. Do you often wander around ships you don't know the name of? Actually, all the time. Yes. You are a strange one. Aki raises an eyebrow. I don't know whether to report you or send you back to where you came from. She smiles to herself, which is nowhere at all. You glance around the empty corridor, suddenly aware of how quiet it is on the ship. Unlike the other ships you've been on, Flotilla, there's a silent order to the wind's long shadow. And to this moment, it feels unsettling. And what happened? Aki squints. That is a broad question, and I am not in the mood to recount the history of the ship or Step. Step? Aki turns away, irritated, eager to change the subject. I'm like, what? Step? You keep saying words I don't know or understand the meaning of. You hear a creak as a set of shutters slowly begin to close around the glass ceiling to the greenhouse. As you watch, they feel the dissonance in the place as the word. There's nothing green here. A dust house, perhaps. It takes many systems to preserve the landscape, Aki begins, to simulate the wind cycle to dust. Layer the sand and dirt beneath. Watch the dust swirling. Systems that are failing. The flux of it, Aki glances at you for a sign of recognition at this term, is eroding our ability to keep the place alive, to keep these traces of Step alive. She smiles to herself. Which is ironic, because when we left Step, the flux had eroded our ability to survive on the moon. Now the situation is reversed. Away from the moon, its ecosystems are as fragile as we were, living upon it. Something catches your eyes as the shutters darken the dust house. The winds, picking away the dunes, begin to reveal something, a web, a network of thick, branching forms, and then they close completely, and you see nothing in the dark. Soft blue light flickering on in the corridor, uplifting Aki in cold cyan. You have piqued my curiosity, but I'm so tired, Aki said. If you do not have a purpose here on the ship, I recommend finding one, otherwise I'm afraid you'll need to leave. Make yourself useful and perhaps we will get another chance to talk. She turns. I would like that. We don't want to talk, we can also just talk. Like, everyone like, I'll talk to you, but only if you're used, only if you start working. It's like, we can just talk. I don't think it's gonna make things any worse or anything. With that, Aki pads away along the corridor. You stand for a moment in front of the dark dust house, trying to imagine the network of roots under the sand and dust, and then trying to imagine the moon that once housed them. Alright. This is also system repairs. Make yourself useful. Take a day 4 die. I have great die. Alright. We got shit to do. Flux node. I need a 5 or a 6 access to Flux node, which I don't have, so I'm not going to be accessing it. This is technically safe work. Let's see how far this helps for survival. Okay, it gives 2 each. That's good. I'm not using them for anything else. So we can see some supplies. There's also spinning flow, that means we're valuing pressure to refuge all 3 moons. Okay, this is getting everyone good. Understood. That is this oh straight, that's actually pretty good. I just check. Anyone else? This is peak, right? Yeah, lower the flex data. I could take a minute. If I take a minute, I mean I could probably do it. 3 is too risky. Especially for risky. Same with that. 3 is too risky. So yeah, we'll apply it here. At least it's a 4. Come on. Nitro +2. So yeah, we should be able to take care of it next cycle. We'll sleep here at the base camp. Well, this is interesting, yeah. So yeah, some big electrical event has happened and it's knocked out a bunch of systems and it's left things obviously real terrible, just real not good. Just a 5 here. Better for it. There we go. Flex data. Ooh, it's a close one. That was a close one. I just need 2, so I'll use the 3, because even if it's neutral, that'll take care of that. Alright, so find you deep in the layers of Pilgrim Seed, working on a patch for a life support vent. You hear him coming, his suit hissing as he does. I had to ask around to find you, he said. Seems you know the place better than me these days. I mean, yeah, I guess I get that. You probably don't walk too much around in sin, right? Because of the condition. It's like, yeah, I put in time. And we thank you for it. Soul holds out a hand. Stand up and let me see you. I guess you see me right here, my boy. I don't believe we ever had a sleeper on Ember Herb. Soul looks you up and down. You sure do make me wish we had. Could have done with a few workers as good as you. His thing. I know he means well, but it's still sleeper talk. It's not great. So stay silent on that. Soul does a little on the quiet side though. No, it's just I'd rather not say something. I know you mean well. He's like, I'll use some answers. Yeah, seeing as you've been working hard on the Pilgrim Seed these past cycles. It's been one cycle. He leans against a crate, his suit creaking. What do you want to know about? Honestly, I'll probably learn more about the flux from actually me and Peak investigating the flux and seeing what the core of it is. So I'd like to know about Ember, since this is apparently something that happened there and has come here. Tell me more about Ember's Herf. Sure, I mean, I spent my whole life on that rock, so I have plenty to tell. I'll save my life story for another time. But the short of it is that the Herf is the first of Ember's moons, the biggest and the most populated, which is down to the successfully terraforming system Kybal set up back when Solom owned the system. Oh yeah, the terraforming is always cool. That's right, Ember's Step was the first try, but that failed. Herf was when they perfected their systems. Ember's Step is where Aki's from, and it's more of a desert land south that was hard for them to survive on. I could see some tension between them, seeing that they were the first attempt and it didn't go well, and then after they perfected it, this one actually worked well and everything, so they're getting the spoils of everything. So yeah, I could see some tension between that. However, Soul ends it. Despite what people might say, Herf was never fully stable. Soul says, some will like to talk it up, but after they pulled out and Solheim left, our people discovered that they had to keep the systems running themselves, or the place would soon end up as dry as steppe. Herf was good as long as the evaporators kept running, kept filling our skies with clouds. Even after the clouds, our people kept those things going, turning the subsurface oceans into periwinkle blue skies. So smile. Flux ended that though, and when they failed, the rains failed, and the harvest with it. So, and soon, you have a city without a way to feed itself. That's when we, some of us, made the decision to set out on this place. He gestures at the Pilgrim Seed and look for another future. Soul shoes on the crate. Anything else you wanted to know? There was something. Oh yeah, yeah. It's like, yeah. What's up with you though? It's like, you want to know about me? I'm not sure that was part of the deal I was thinking of. Unless you're asking about this. Yeah. What's with the suit? In case you haven't guessed, this is the only thing keeping me vertical. It's a lifter suit, made for working the fields. We had to modify it so I could walk around after the accident. And that's all I'm saying, Slayer. Because to be honest with you, I don't owe you more than that. You want to know more about the flux about Ember's Herb? Go ahead. I don't pry into my life, and I won't pry into yours. My life isn't. Hey, I've told Emphys, my boy Emphys, we can sit down at the old shop. I tell the stories. Emphys will be there, just good story, sleeper. And that's how he is. So less the silent sit, is staring hard at the fort. The suit seems to loom over him, looking more like a burden than support. With the bars around his head, he suddenly started thinking of it as a cage. Look, I don't mean to be rude. Let's leave it there. There's too many eyes on me on this ship as it is, and I'd rather just slip into the background. Thank you very much. Soul shows on the crate. Anything else you want to know? You know what? After that, I'm good. I'm good. Is that you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. I don't need to know. I don't want to talk anymore. Soul stands, flexing around the suit. He takes his cane in his hand. Keep it up, sleeper. It's honestly least. You're making me think I need to start making new plans for this place.
Without so least, and you wonder what he means. As he creaks away down the corridor, you can't help but feel that there's more to him than it seems. Alright, I'm good here, right? Yep. This part is finished. I have the flux data for peak. There you go. Sleeper, come look at this. Peak is pouring over one of the displays of the makeshift decoding suite that is set up in the climbing brush cargo bay. On the screen, a clump of data pathways, like an ingrown root ball has started to untangle. This is an existing node, corrupted by the flux event. It's totally twisted up. They glance at you to check you are listening. Yeah, but inside, you watch the unwinding pathway leaves behind patterns of negative space, like shadows staying behind despite their cast or leaving. Is a whole other data set. Peak eyes shine bright in the pale green. The flux event somehow seeds this data deep into the gaps into the node, wrapping them around it. Yeah, what's in it? I'm not sure. It isn't being very cooperative. You watch the screen, the patterns of shadows becoming oblivious now as each layer and pathway is pulled away. The flux event itself really did a number on unprotected nodes like this one. Most of the eye systems are screened against radiation interference, but these exposed nodes, Peak makes a ripping motion with their hands, torn apart. Peak points to a big tangle of threads on the screen. Look, here. It looks like it's been tangled purposefully, but it's actually that all the points of the nodes have been randomly rearranged, and since the node was a bag of ball bearings and the flux shook them. The pathways tried to account for the rearrangement and the systems came back on, hence the tangle. Pink pauses as the node continues to unwind. Although, it was less like shaking a bag of ball bearings and more like making them all simultaneously occupy a superposition of every possible position in the bag before locking them back into a new configuration. But that's technicality. But does it help us? For now, not especially. It explains the damage flux does to a system, but the method is an exotic one. Pig runs a hand through their hair. What we need to know is what is causing it. Where's it coming from? Pig turns away from the screen, meeting your eyes, and there's something else. They goes, have you spoken with refugees? It's like, like a little. Like, not like that much. It's been one day. Pig lowers her voice instinctively. What they're reporting, massive system failures, cascading collapses of light support and terraforming systems, total data corruption. Pig swallows. The flux shouldn't do that. It can fundamentally rearrange the structures of systems, especially those poorly shielded, but totally collapsing heavy-duty industrial systems, failsafes and all, that doesn't make sense. Those kind of systems are built for deep space, for solar flares and radiation. The flux might penetrate them, but any reconfiguration should have been repairable. Peak looks back at the screen, where the decoding node lies almost fully open. A shadow pattern in negative space that existed within a scrambled interior darkens the screen, like a set of bruising showing the pattern of the object that made them. I need to look into something. I have an idea what might be causing the wave, triggering the flux, but I need time to research it. Here's the thing. Please do it on your own. I have so much shit to do. What is it? Big friends, I don't want to say for now, not until I'm sure. If you need something to do, the Flotilla can surely do it to help. From what I heard from Ash, Ninja 10's out there. I'm assuming Ash is out. He must be out. I've been focusing on everything, so I can't say I've noticed. Although the quiet is nice. Nice, huh? Give me some time, Sleeper. Peak turns. I'll let some answers soon enough, I hope. You take one last look at the uncoiling node as you lead dark shapes that leaves behind, somehow troubling. You try to shake them from your mind. There are things to be done elsewhere. Alright, cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6. It's gonna take 6. I'm gonna go there. It's just, I need to go ahead and repair myself, so tomorrow I'll be good. Oh, that was close one. It's always like right in the center, and it's like, I should, no, don't end. This is gonna take 4 die. I could possibly finish this one in 3. And then I'm gonna probably end up having to figure out who the hell I'm talking to. Oh, 50-50? Yeah, I'll start with the 50-50. I'll set the tone. Yeah. I don't like that this is red. The people here are not happy. Yeah. Give them a loan supply. The more alpha supply and document, the more attention you're getting. 2, a 2 is a 3 is bad. I'm not gonna use that. That's not gonna work there. We're waiting for that. Let's see. Let's try. Put this towards sunbathing. I guess that is true. 3 is. 3 still 50% chance of positive. It would be. Yeah. I could possibly use it. There's a chance, you know. If it's natural, it's plus 1. Come on, come on, you got this, come on, I believe in you. Negative. Energy down. Alright, I used up my energy, you know what? Yeah, get on up out of here. That has 2 more cycles. Goes to Roan. See my boy Emphas. Got some food. See if you guys will be here tomorrow. You guys just returned as well. Let me buy some scrap. Alright, instead I got ship mine fragment. I can put a ship mine together if I need to. Scrap helps keep me upright. Another ship mine fragment. Alright. I have the capabilities to put together a ship mine. Until if need it, I will not though, so. Yeah, cross screw. I was like, what's over here? But yeah, in case I do need a ship mine, I can put one together. I can throw one together real quick. Go ahead. Sleep it off. Yeah, hopefully we get some good dye. Really run through this. Alright, these are not bad. I mean, Diablo, you know what I'm saying? 3-6. Knowing that even a negative will pass us, except we'll lose energy if it's this. Okay, good, it's neutral. Alright. There's a loose crowd around the supplies you've unloaded, and a tense mood brewing among them. You sit nearby on the edge of the shuttle docking tunnel, resting. Further away, crews in the Ember Song continue their lives as usual, coming and going, trading, discussing. There's a quiet efficiency to the hub, set up as a common space with a swarm of small ships from the Ember Song that are part of Flotilla. Unlike Harford Step, there's no one capital ship for the moon's refugees, just a mass of individuals traveling in concert. We told her if we didn't want their scraps. The jeering voice comes out of the small crowd nearby. He's heard to see a gaunt, pale man wearing the industrial work gear you've seen many of the Song refugees wearing. You hear me? Yeah, I was like, if you don't want supply, it's like, I don't care. It's like, how noble of you coming out here to help us singers. There's a rebel of anger on the current singers. You got to. I mean, I did say concert. We agreed to join the flotilla for joint protection. We now agree to Ember her using the flotilla to secure their control of the moons. You realize Peter isn't addressing the crowd as much as he is addressing you. He's talking to them. With the cordon down, our crews are more than able to acquire what is needed from the eye. What is owed, a restitution for keeping us restrained. You've had to one of the crates you unloaded. What we need, we will take. Hey, I don't have a fucking stake in this. I don't give a shit. No, why are you delivering supplies with her? You need to check your lines. I don't have any lines to any of you fucks. If anything, my lines lies with the eye, to be true. I know the eye the most. I got tight connections to Yadigan. We might have to run up in this bitch. We might cross the Greenway just to let you know, my boy. Peter looks around at the crowd. Her thinks they can buy us, but remember the past. A rumble of argument runs through the crowd. He smiles at them. Take the supply if you wish, of course. We are not wasteful. Peter approaches you directly. The crowd tentatively moves forward, and by the time he reaches you, they are already dragging away crates and distributing the contents. I'm not one for shooting the messenger, Sleeper, he said, but we cannot concede to her here, not for a moment. Nigga, I just asked to help unload supply, dude. I don't understand. He's like, I can see that. He sits beside you on the docking tunnel. He's like, what was your plan, Sleeper? Unload supplies and wait for someone to start throwing them back at you? He nods to the crowd rifling through the crates, because that's what was about to happen. I mean, that wasn't the plan, per se. I was just gonna unload them and leave. It was like, so, yeah. So I then say, hey, okay, cool. Hey, I don't like this. We can let this one go. What do you think happened to the crew of the shuttle? He's like, they were chased out of this place. So why do you hate Herf? We do not hate Herf. We simply don't trust them. They do not trust her. Do you know anything about Ember's Moon, Sleeper? Or were you planning to wander into the Flotilla totally blind? Yeah, sorry, the outsider offering help. I know, like, you guys are cool with each other because of history. That's the only thing I know. I know a little. A little is the same as nothing. Nothing and a little are two completely different things. I'm going to assume you know the basics. The gas giant Ember has 7 moons, and the 3 biggest are Ember, Step, Song, and Heart healings. We can cover the 3 sisters next session. Set was the first to be settled. A contract old Solomon gave the terraforming Southern system to the first claim to Hellion system. That's way back when. Set was a testing ground, and like most testing grounds, it didn't turn out too well. A partial atmosphere slowly slogging off each orbit. A dysfunctional ecosystem with a whole lot of dust-clogged settlers. That place is a miserable desert long past its best before date. So moved to Herf, where they redoubled the efforts. The subsurface opened some balmy tidal heating help, allowing them to build a real atmosphere, a real habitable world, a fact that typical Herf colonists won't ever let you forget. How did someone achieve such a thing, you might wonder? Well, that's where we come in. It's the same old rule of certainty, the one humanity built over universes around. Peter claps a hand with his chest in a mock pride. My moon, Ember Song, is a sulfur-soaked rock covered in volcanoes, tidal heated by inner orbit at sweltering temperatures. Exactly the kind of crucible you need to fuel a terraforming project. Energy industry fuel. Song provided the raw materials for Earth, willingly or not. And a crucible requires people to run it. Us singers, born into the flaming pit and asked to stoke it so others might live in a paradise in the making, that's what we had to endure, until Solomon brought everything down. Peter rattles off the speech from memory, and you wonder how many times he has delivered it. No Solheim, no contract, no Cybele, and no Cybele means 3 moons suddenly independent. It was a war, Sleeper. Sometimes hot, sometimes cold, and unsurprisingly, Harf and Steph came out of it better than us. Yet, they need us, Sleeper. Always have, and so here we are, the linchpin. We're the center around which the moons orbit, not swirling ember. We've resisted takeovers, sieges, and expansions, and now we'll resist this. Half the people on these ships think the flux was caused by Herf, intentionally or otherwise, and I have to say, some cycles I agree. So before you come here to hand out supplies like a good soldier, maybe educate yourself. But you abandon Song. I want you to imagine what it's like to try to live on an airless volcanic rock when every system to sustain you starts shutting down. He sits and wipes his sleeve across his mouth. We abandoned nothing. Some stayed, others left, but we will reclaim Ember as soon as Flux fades or ends us. We've weathered worse. Alright, so the goal is to get through the Flux and then go back to Song. Because it'll be fine? Okay. So, I don't care if you guys are not, but don't you need the supplies at least? It's like, yeah, as I said, we'll take what we need when we need it. There's no authority that we recognize here. Okay. I won't keep you from docking access later. No one here has the authority for that, but watch yourself here. Try to remember that the Eye is just another in the long list of people that have tried to control us. Hey, I don't give a shit, man. Either size. Look, we are many. We have many needs. Just come to the night as the repairs requisites for friendship. You can provide these as well as any singer. If you want to help in your own name, Slaver, not in that of the harp. Carry that name here and you'll lose all trust. But be as we are, act in your own name alone. Be around to hand and shoulder and stance. I hope I didn't just waste my time here, Slaver. And with that, he walks away, back to the shrinking crowd and distributing the last of the supplies amongst the crews present. He watched them pass the food and water between them. No signs of conflict between the crews, just a careful distribution of resources. Peter chats with a few crews, each of them casting looks in your direction, ones that reveal little about the singer's intentions. You stand, and then scenes the tension of Flotilla runs much deeper than you expected. This won't be easy. Yeah, everything fucking sucks. It's like, hey, just if you're gonna help, just help because of you. It's like Harf ain't welcome here. I ended okay, so they want spores and a ship mine. Okay. I can get spores and I just said talking about the ship mine core. I can build a ship mine core. That's not an issue. Let's work on this though. We got such great dice. And I get money. And I get a little cha-ching. Repairing some of the systems. The one turned into a 1. A 1 is a 2 is a 50-50. A 50-50 is... I don't know if it's dangerous, but... Let me... One roll also should be able to get the last 2 spores. Let me get some food as well as I can build a ship mine core. That's right, it's not a shit, it's put at the fabricator. Boom. Ship mine. I had that one. What am I gonna do with that one? I guess I could have used it for energy, get a sunbathe, but it's not that big a deal. I gotta see what negative outcome there is from this. Lose energy. Alright, there's my replacement. There it is. I guess they don't want spores. Yeah, they're still sufficient. They're gonna grow their own. They'd rather do that. Makes sense. Makes sense. Don't want to risk anything. I can't do anything with any of this yet. So I'll probably be able to finish this tomorrow. I should be able to finish that tomorrow. Getting that as well. What am I out there? There's one at. Let's just. Yeah, we'll just show it here. 50-50, you know, might make some. Alright, neutral, you know, get a little money. Let's sleep here in the dorms. Let's go ahead and do that. And there's like so much drama between these moons. It's I was like, man, this, and they cannot. Why would they do this to me? Why would you? Why? We'll roll. We'll finish up over here. We've made ourselves useful. Okay. Okay, we can grab these, right? That's exactly as many girls we need. That's done. We have 1, 2, and a 6, so the 6 will be good. So let's see what Aki's up to. I see you've been contributing. Aki stands next to you at the dust house window. I was unsure what to expect when we joined the Flotilla on its voyage to the Eye, but after the journey across the system, then the quarantine, and then the flux reaching all the way out here too, I told her to sell. Thank you. She bows a little. The other ships have only been interested in sending us supplies, but we grow all we need. She gestures to the dust house. What the dust house needs, that is the problem that concerns us. She smiles and turns to you. Shall we go inside? Is it safe? Is it safe for the dust house? Aki rolls her eyes. Come see. She touts away at the panel by the window. Seems only fair that after you help with the support system, you get to see what it is that you're maintaining. Aki leads you to an opening besides the window. You pass through a dark, changing room. You notice Aki is sliding on an oxygen mask and visor. She looks at you, looks at the swirling dust inside. Inside, it's just like the Ember Step. Thin atmosphere, constant dust storms, nothing that will bother you. He passes you a mask. The dust isn't exactly pleasant to inhale, however, so take this. You hold it to your face. He leads you to a short decontamination tunnel with fizzing panels of purifying light, and then through into the dust house. Immediately the wind and the heat hit you. You feel the rough waves of dust scattering across your face and peer through the amber murk. Your feet slide on shifting piles of sand. Welcome to Step, or an emulation of it at least. Aki's voice sounds distant, echoey. The terraforming process only managed to provide a limited atmosphere around the moon, one which is slowly escaping. It's been like this since I was born, so I got used to the idea. You cut your bright eyes through the ember dust. So did everything else that lives there. You feel something hard beneath your feet, beneath the sand, like a coil of work. What's under the sand? That is steppe silk. It's one of the plants we established on Step. She kicks away some red sand. Like any bast fiber, it can be retted and woven into clothes. I'm wearing some made from it myself. That's cool. It's one of many species adapted to Step since the Solon collapse, which is why it must be preserved. She stares out into the swirling dust. It is as much a refugee as we are, and the dust house holds hundreds of other species. You look at the pale, unassuming root, threaded thickly through the sand. Aki watches you silently. Had enough? It'll be easier to speak outside. Aki leads you back out through the decontamination tunnel, which blasts the dust from both of you with a burst of metallic tasting air, and into the changing room. Aki hangs up both masks, patiently awaiting your questions. Yeah, what happened? Aki pauses, pulling her shawl around her. She looks small and pale inside its layers. Set was already a doomed world, she says. When Solomon gave the terraforming concept to Cybele, they believed they could build an atmosphere, but the moon's erratic orbit made it impossible to maintain. By the time Solomon collapsed, the atmosphere was already fading, and Cybele's attention was on Ember Hearth. After that collapse, Cybele fell too. Its researchers scattered amongst the moon, and any central organization lost. Since then, my parents' generation worked tirelessly to survive, to adapt what we had to the failing moon, the steppe silk, the other adapted species, and the life work of Step's colonies. Then when the flux started to collapse our computer systems, corrode and destroy our life support, our water supply, our agriculture, we had to leave. Aki sits heavily on a nearby bench. Soon the only traces of Steppe will be on this ship. Aki begins to cry quietly. You're unsure what to do. It's like, hey, I have a lot of experience of people crying now. You sit on the bench beside her, she sobs. You understand why the ship, why the refugees from Steppe were so different. Their world was already dying when the flux arrived. Ember Steppe was a terraformed moon, a partial atmosphere, established colonies, agriculture, and yet when the flux event started, its people had to leave. You dig the eye and its delicate web of decaying system it rests upon. What hope does a ruined station have against a wave that corrupts, corrodes, and collapses? Aki interrupts your thoughts, rubbing her eyes. Not everyone left. There wasn't room to take all the people and fill the dust house. My parents, their friends, and many others stayed. We carried a step for them. If there's one thing I learned on the Eye is that somehow the Eye will survive. Because the greenhouse was exactly the same. Well, the greenway was exactly the same, right? It was something that they thought was going to die out and fail and stuff, but somehow it ended up flourishing, taking back, and then not only surviving despite all odds,
began nourishing exactly the people that were there for the things that they needed to help them survive as well. And now the Greenway has its own dedicated colony and stuff with Hypa. So I think that, yeah, if you're able to maintain it, not only will the step survive here in the Dust House, I think you guys will be able to sign. Because, I mean, it wasn't easy, right? Rico said it took cycles upon cycles, but now they're in a state where it works. We learn not to talk of hope on a dying world. There is meaning for them, and any future that can build with the time they have. She stands up. I wanted you to understand the importance of these dust houses, of what they contain. She leads you back into the corridor. If the flux event continues to reach out to the eye, we need to build protectors to ensure their safety. Agi meets your eye. Yeah, I understand you protecting us up, but also, yeah, what about the people, though? Agi looks away. We aren't idiots here. We chose to carry this burden. We will survive. These dust houses are already decaying. I have seen it. She stares at it does. We have thought that they'd last longer, but that last flux event, yeah. All of a sudden, that shit's gonna speed up. Help us, please. It's like, yeah. It's like, honestly, I'm not really doing too much else right now, anyway. You know, I've really helped solidify the eye. I think I can do it here. So yeah, I'm good. Yeah, let's do it. It's like, when you're ready, we'll begin the preparations for reinforcing the dust houses. We need to be ready for the next flux event. Aki's eyes shine with the last of her tears. I'll see you soon. Aki drifts away down the corridor, leaving you alone once more at the viewing window, watching the ragged, delicate traces of the moon known as Ember Step. Alright, so... and what it does are preservations. It's +2, this gives you +3. Improving this house isn't the only way to sustain the cycle. With intuitive care, the plant can be made more resilient. Engineering can give you a scrap though. Whoa, that's a lot of energy loss if you fuck it up. Agi's devised upgrades that will protect this house from both flux and their slow decay. She needs you to implement them. Preservation, that's a lot. That's a good amount though. Okay. We can have, yeah, and they're both +2, so that's great. That's great. If you I've noticed, obviously this is gonna be a long session because I'm trying to get through each episode. So if you're with me here still, thank you, right? Because these episodes are a lot, but it's really good. Right? So I'm really enjoying Nonsense. So let's go ahead and give them the spores they need. See what Peter's got to say. And you. As you cross the axis looking for a shuttle to take you back to the road in Cordon, you spot Peter standing at the edge of the central hub. Something about the way he's leaning against the rail, looking down across the axis and towards the blinking lights in the Flotilla beyond, make you pause. He's completely still, his head drooping low and his shoulders hunched high. He's having a moment, leave him be. He watched for a moment more and then moved off the hub towards a promising-looking shuttle dock. Peter didn't look like he wanted to be disturbed, but as you climbed through the docking tunnel towards the departing shut, you can't help but glance back. You saw him there, still at the railing, still small in the cavernous chamber of the hub. He seems untouched by the motion around him, lost in memory or thought. You feel a cold shiver rising from inside and slip out through the docking tunnel before it can touch you. Gotta keep moving. Yeah, that man's doing his thing. It's like he's locked in. Alright, now any accessions. Socializing with the also +2s, which are great. Access house overflowing job board, help out. Socialize with the crew, keep good relations. Alright, So we have some decent 2s or 1s or 3s, 3s are higher, those are all nonsense, so let's work here. See if we can cover the step silk. So 1s or 3s. 3s are technically 25% positive. We have a chance. I don't really have anything else. Go for it, baby. Neutral's +2. Neutrals are +2. We can do it.
Positive plus 3. That's what we're talking about, baby. So yeah, one more positive. Yeah, there are 2 neutrals and 1 positive. Oh, I mean, we're gonna need 2 die regardless, but this is good. This is good. We still have. After this, we'll still have 3 cycles left. Let's go ahead. Sleep it out. We still have 1 ship mine fragment. I don't know if they sell ship mine fragments. They might. Alright, those are honestly all great die. Great die. Right, since they're all plus 2 as well. That means they have 4 6s and a 50-50. Yeah, this is a phenomenal hand. Let's go ahead and just grab some food though from our boy Memphis before we continue on, just so I know it's taken care of. Also feed the cat. While we're over here, you know, someone's got to feed the stray. I'm sure the stray is doing well on its own. But, you know, any off chance, I don't want to forget about me. We put in so much work with that. God, building that repaired unit, right? That took so much scrap and so much time and effort just to put it together. Since it's gonna take 2 die regardless, we'll use do the engineering version just so we possibly could get scrap. Alright, it's a 50-50, but I'm afraid if I don't get it, it'll be +1, so I don't want to risk it. There we go. Well, Augie, it was up. You and Augie stand side by side at the viewing window in silence. The dust swirls, and you glimpse the twisted root system of the steps silk through the orc haze. Okra, okay. I'm thinking about Bob Ross right now. Right, it was like the yellow. I don't remember. After all these cycles, you feel a strange connection to a world of which you never set foot. It's been 1 cycle. Augie shifts from foot to foot. She seems restless, eager to speak, but unsure of what to say. Oh, we did it. Augie smiles at you warmly. We did. She pauses and turns back to the window. What is the value of all this? She asks suddenly. Of preserving the world we have left behind. I mean, I feel like it's always good, and I personally always feel, I don't know if it's dumb, but for me, like, having somewhat a connection of like where you come from, of like what you've been through and stuff, and those times in the past, just a constant reminder of sort of like how it was and what you had to go through to get to where you are today. So for me, part of it is the history. A good part of it is the history, right? To remind myself that I've been through a lot, I've done a lot, and those times are behind me, but at any moment that could become my future again. So not to ever like kind of take for granted what the struggle of just life and just the things I've done such. I mean, I don't really eat cup noodles all too much, but every time I go grocery shopping, I buy a thing of cup noodles just to remind myself that that this used to be the meal, right? This used to be it. That was it all the time. And now I'm past that, but at any point, if I don't continue moving forward, that could be what it comes to again. I'll get aside for a moment, but history is dead. It is a dead thing. These plants, these ecosystems, they still live. They are no more history than you or I. As long as we keep living, we are more than just history. Augie paces away, lost in thought. Okay, just don't ask for my fucking opinion then. I'm grateful to you for helping protect the dust houses, for ensuring that slide into the decay is delayed, even averted, but now I find myself at an impasse. The stability of the dust house changes things. It makes me aware of how blinkered we have been. Augie stops to look at you, her posture is somehow different. If the ecosystem's a step, if its people cannot grow to meet the future, why preserve it? She frowns. Are we just slaves to the reservation of what came before? I mean, you inherited it, right? In the same way, the next generation inherits the current situation of the world itself, right? It doesn't mean that they're going to have to do the same thing. It's just that's what they're starting with, but it's not how they have to end. Oh, you're not. But the weight of the inheritance is heavy. It always is. Ion's close, holds your hands in hers. We must change. We must change to live. He smiles. I have seen that in you. Yeah, I have changed to live. This step, these people, this ship should have served more than heritage and history. They should serve the future. She takes a breath. There are those in the flotilla that need clothes, that need food, that can benefit from the gifts of the SET's ecosystem. I want you to invite them. Can you do that for me? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, she wants to open up to the flotilla to help, become more coherent and stuff. It's like, yeah, how would you like that? I know that Soul sent you. She smiled. You can tell them Aki, captain of the Windslung Shadow, invites all the people of the flotilla to come. You're the captain? You never asked. I guess I never did ask. You want to know about the flux now, about its purposes, its origins, he smiled. You wish to protect your home as we could not. I'm afraid I do not have much to tell you. It is an exotic wave of sorts, an energy that passes through matter. It shifts the very charged particles that run through our electrical systems. It's possible to shield against it, as you would radiation, but we have done with that, as we've done with the dust house, but only while it is weak. The flux in here was much like the first ones we found in Ember Step, localized, destructive, but bearable. But in time, its strength grew. I don't know if it will be the same here, but it is coming from the center of the system, from the closed orbit of Hellion Star, H1. That is all we can uncover. She is silent for a moment, unsure of what to add. I'm sorry I cannot offer more, but you are always welcome on this ship. She smiles. I hope I will see you when the others come. She squeezes both your hands. I hope this ship, these dust houses, can be more than a museum. I hope they can be a home. With that, she turns and leaves, and you feel that word, home, resonating within you like a struck bell. I'm pretty good at this. Pretty good at this shit. The docking, Yep, I got shit to do here. What is this? Engineer? Possibility to get scrap. Alright. Just gotta help out the Axis. Well, that's cool. Yeah, let's see. That's a whole new place. Alright, 50-50. Come on! I believe in you! Positive. There we go. So we're halfway there. Yep, 1, 2, 3 more die. We should be able to wrap that up. Still have what's going to be 2 more cycles after this. So yep. I know, this is, it is interesting. I like that they've decided to loop in a previous kind of issue going on that's now sort of reaching our borders and such, but it's nice. It's not change of pace, especially Die's not as good as the last, but honestly, we only need 3 good ones, and we have 3 pretty decent ones. So we should be fine. There's a lot of time before even that comes up anyway, so it'd be great if we got some scrap, Hey, ask and you shall receive. Alright. Even more scrap. Alright, do the 50-50 or do I? No, I'll do the 50-50. It's 50-50. Come on, I believe. Neutral. Of course, it's fucking neutral. But we got scrap, so it's fine. Oh, great. Now 1 to 3. I just need the neutral. I can really use that 5 for anything else because it's gonna be a 6. And I don't know, I don't know what he's gonna want after this. Alright, this is what we're gonna do. You see our energy. We gotta have a meal. We'll talk to Emphas. We'll have a little lunch break. We'll see how he feels about it. We'll feed the cat. Since we're over here. And in this case, I guess it doesn't work. That's a 75% chance.
75% chance that it's good. Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. The game's all about rolling the dice. Let's roll the dice. We still have plenty of time, yo. Somebody. Fucking course. Fucking course. Sleeper, pre-calls you as you cross the axis. He's standing by the same round as you saw him last time. He beckons you over. I'm in hearing things. He says silent note. Good? Good things? Bad things? Mostly good things. He rolls his hands together nervously. You wait for him to speak. You know, in song I was a teacher. Oh shit, you were a teacher? That sounds so surprised. I'm very surprised. Mechanical engineering is an essential subject on the moon where a single mechanical failure can mean the deaths of hundreds. He looks at the ground. The heat, the atmosphere, the radiation, all of it's hostile to us. My students knew this. Their work, their training was respected. As long as they were careful and respected song themselves, they could have their choice of colony placements. They were always in demand. That meant I was respected, surrounded by friends and colleagues, always able to call in favors and repay them like for like. He frowned. Song colonies were small, close-knit. We look after our own. When the flux events started hitting, colonies went dark overnight. We all knew what those kind of failures meant. Like always, we lost more people than any of the other moons. He balls in his hands in tight fists. Not a single one of my students left Song. Our future was cut off, just like that. My future. He flexed his hand. When am I out here? What use am I? Song is fading memory, and the systems we built there are useless outside its orbit. How am I supposed to move on from here? He looks at you, eyes steely. Yeah, but, I mean, you're a teacher. Teach some people. I was like, I'm sure there's plenty of stuff. There's plenty of systems and mechanical work that needs to be done here in the Flotilla as well as in the eye that you could be using to not only increase the conditions of the eye to make it better, but much more sustainable. And it's like, there's plenty of people that don't know shit that could really benefit from you teaching them shit. You don't give up, do you, Sleeper? You just get going. It's like, I learned very early, thanks to my boy Dragos. He's not dead. I hope he's not dead. We did clear his debt, so that, you gotta work, right? You gotta put your hands in there and you gotta start getting to work. You gotta keep moving, or this place is gonna consume you. You remind me of a student of mine, one who entered the program from one of the smaller colonies. They didn't have the advantages of some of the others, but they were stubborn as hell. By the end of the program, they were the most skilled of their peers. They didn't get the best assignment, maybe because they didn't spend much time making the kind of connections that would help you get there. But that didn't matter, because they knew they would make the best of anything they set themselves to do. He just smiled out, buoyed up by memory. Singers are stubborn, Sleeper. We aren't going to change easily. Won't forgive easily, or take help easily. We'll hold strong. You can count on us for that. Peter stands for the railing. When you see Soul again, you can tell him that. You can't tell him how the crews of Ember Song operate. You can tell him how we operate. No, we will resist. If that means resisting her imperialist ambition, so be it. If it means resisting the flux, so be it. And if it means to, as you have, help others resist those same pressures, so be it. Here's one. And then tell him to leave us alone. He turns his step lighter and heads up towards the center of the axis hub. He's like, tell Soul we're good. We're stubborn. We're gonna resist. And you know what? Fuck it. We'll help resist if we'll help you resist, but we're gonna fucking resist. We're gonna resist. Do I talk to Soul now or wait until I have died? Let's just talk to Soul now. We're here, right? When you arrive at the bridge of Pokemon Seed, Soul is waiting for you. You wouldn't believe the messages that have come through in the past few cycles, Sleeper. It has been a few cycles. He smiles. The chef and Seth has sent a goodwill gesture. A whole cache of supplies from their own farms, he smiles. I'm not sure how we'll use them, but the gesture is a welcome one. Song, meanwhile, are apparently accepting supplies again, although a little pretentiously, if I may say so. Soul smiles. I don't expect them to change anytime soon, it should be said. And what I'm wondering, Sleeper, is what part you had in all the Soul eyes on you. It's like, I just helped where I could. I've come to expect that of you, Sleeper. He smiles. You look at Soul, his eyes bright and eager, and wonder what he sees in you.
Are you a tool to be used or an ally? It can be hard to tell. I want to show you something. Soul squeezes your shoulder, turning you to face the lift. He leads you along the axis of the ship, towards the engines, the clanking of his suit accompanied by the constant hammering and welding that fills the echoey bulkheads of the pilgrim seat at all hours. With the cordon lifted and shuttle is able to go out to salvage scrap and barter for supplies, the ship has become a place of transformation, moving towards some state yet to be revealed to you. You look at Soul. What's his plan here? What's he preparing for Pilgrim Seed for? Or are the ship's eyes simply focused on making it through the next cycle? Suddenly Soul stops in the huge bulkhead door, like the seal at the front of the dry dock hangar. He signals to someone in a cabin high up attached to the wall, and they begin the process of opening it up. The Pilgrim Seed was built as a short-range freight carrier, you know. The amber warning lights of the bulkhead doors and spinning shadows across Soul's face. We built it to ship the entire harvest for thousands of farms to silos at Passeria. That's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm going to call it. When we realized we needed to leave, it was the biggest ship we could muster. Soul wraps on the metal plate, and somehow she carried us all the way here. Yeah, you led the evacuation? Me? Not even close. I was a farmer, had a whole load of land and people to run it, and my people helped convert this place for a long trip. He looks at his feet. Others led, organized the evacuation, and debated the plan. And? Not one of those folks made it. Soul rubs his head. We were out in the black a long time before we got here, Sleeper. Things happen. The upshot is I was chosen to take over. I guess my crew trusted me and I knew the ship. I argued, reminding them that I'm no leader and that I'm sick, but well, when service chooses you, a loud klaxion sound indicating the bulkhead doors are ready to open. They groan as they slide back, the metal squealing, echoing through the vast ship, bouncing off its hard-plated walls. At first, all you see is darkness. Then the lights go on, in huge strips that stretch back and back as far as you can see. The space in front of you, a vast bay, bigger than any you've ever seen, is empty. When we left Herf, we didn't have the time or resources to convert the entire ship. Soviets leading you into the mouth space. So much of the freight space was sealed away, shut down. But now, we have time, we have resources, we stabilize here, at least for the moment. Phil turns to you. Now is the time we make use of this. Yeah, especially with a place this large, so yeah, I mean, even the Atticans be able to actually build sort of a pseudo-town, in a sense. You can use that for that. This place, if you're going to start building resources and stuff to actually start being much more self-sufficient, yeah, it's like, and you have the space now. What do you think happens next for the Eye, Sleeper? The Flux has already hit one part of the station. From what I know, it'll hit again. On Herf, we lost everything. There isn't much time, Sleeper, but there is enough time to do something. Think of the number of people we can fit on here. The farming sacks, the housing hell. We can plant some of those mushrooms you love so much. I don't love them. It's just they can sustain me. I have a very particular palate. This is the way forward, the only way. We need to fill this ship with able bodies and head for the starboard belt. Oh, he's going to the starboard belt. Me, Bliss, and Ankita went to the starboard belt. I think Sleeper 2 is in the starboard belt. Which it would make sense if the DLC connects to it to like get you to the part 2. I think it is. I think it's called like Starboard Vector. I don't remember, but I'll eventually play that. But I'm gonna take a long break before that. Yeah, it's like I thought the Eye was. It's like the Eye was until the Flux hit here. Now it's just another stop. I'm glad of the chance to resupply and salvage, but we need to go further out. I want you to help me. You know, the Eye. You have connections, and you can work hard. I've seen it. So I'm at your Eye. I know you're like me, Sleeper. You didn't choose service, but it chose you. It's like, would this work, my boy? It's like, it has to. There's nothing else. I know it's a lot to think about, Sleeper. Trust me. Sylvan's will lead you back down Bay. But think of what we can do here. The Flotilla can't last forever. We need more than just farmers to make this work. We need to build a new world for ourselves. I've heard that out there in the belt there are people who've been setting up since the collapse, making something of their own. That's our future, tucked away in those rocks, far from all this. I didn't bring my people here just to let them die somewhere new. Soul crosses back over the threshold of the bay and signals for the operator to close it up. The door groans and Soul waits for it to stop. Think about it, Sleeper. Soul classes on his head. But don't wait too long. This is happening soon. And he leaves you there, in the silence of the vast bay, your head spinning with the thoughts of leaving the Eye. Everyone wants me to fucking leave the Eye. Upgrade point, I had 2 now. I can't do anything with that. I guess I'm just waiting. 2 cycles, that'll happen, so we got some time. We got some time. Alright, so he wants to put everybody up on the ship and head on out. Head on out. Alright. Alright, I see. So much going on. These are good die. These are some good dice right here. Alright. Need a bit of energy. I'm guessing I'm just waiting for Peak to finish his research. In that case, I will take my time to gather scrap. Make sure our scrap supplies stay up. I'm gonna need some food. We'll see what the dice say. I might put dice towards it, I might not. Also, they are gone. They are back. Oh no, they just haven't left yet. Okay. I have unload. Nah. Buy some food. Let's reroll these. Alright, a 4 is technically better. So now it's a 5. 1 and a 2. Let's work here. It's not really anything negative that happens if we mess it up, so. We don't really need. We're still pretty good on cryo. I don't really need. I also work there, so let's. Here, greenhouse. Start harvesting mushrooms. Oh, let's just working for us, X. Just working up. Make a little money. And our boy should be good tomorrow. Ooh, let's see what Peak's got to find. What he gone ahead and found out. What's he learned about? Oh, and the dice. Oh boy, the dice. On a new day has glorious dice. The dice are. It's so beautiful. Should I get food? So, I am fine. Dice so beautiful. Beautiful. Let's see what's the flux. Have you ever heard of Kane channel, Sleeper? Peak asked as soon as you entered the bay, as if you were in the middle of a conversation. I just got here. There are heavy circles under his eyes, and you aren't sure if he's moved since the last visit. The console they are working at seems to have grown too, shadowing their slight frame in a wealth of screens and wires. Yeah, I mean, the transit? Yes, exactly. Kiyomani's active negation. The name of the effect used to transport trillions of tons of materials from the circuit systems to the core. You might have heard of it in your physics classes. I didn't go to physics class. Or maybe my real me did, and I emulated class. At XPR, they hammered the principles into us as kids. Kane. Peak recites the definitions as if in the classroom. A process of collapsing spatial casualties along the Euclidean distance between 2 points of negating mass simultaneously at both ends of geodesic curve. Essentially, Kane channels allows for the near instantaneous transport of raw materials between systems. They require huge volumes of energy, of course, and decades of construction, but once a Kane channel is established, it opens up a system for infinite exploration. So it's, yeah, okay. Yeah, we're very familiar with that. We have that in plenty of things. The backbone of surrogacy is what XPR called them. Peak shakes their head. They might not be able to send anything more complex than a rock through them. Complex machines and people are, shall we say, reconfigured by the process, but for raw, molecular, pure materials, whoosh. And, where are we going with this? People hold this. What I was trying to find out was whether the healing system, this system, ever had a Kane channel. Cane channels are vastly expensive to build, to run. Not every surrogate system has one. Many use fraction device ships to transport the materials to the nearest hub, but some of them spare no expense when they establish the system. So there's a cane channel. Yep, they shut it down before the collapse. They couldn't run the sender receiver station anymore, but it was there. It still is, as far as I can tell, closely orbiting our star. In fact, Peakrans, they've been building to this. I'm sure it's still there because one of the issues with cane channels are the massive wave of exotic energy they can produce when cycling up. So it's not shut down, it's still active, so it's sending out this large sense of energy, but there's no receiver and there's no product, so it's just messing everything up. Exactly. Someone's starting up the channel. Someone's activating it, but it's got nowhere to go. Why? Pig sections run that. I don't know. They start counting off information on their fingers. They need a lot of resources to do it, and they need to have people from the core systems, but there's no real large-scale extraction in the Helion system anymore. So why would they need to go to the trouble? Yeah, maybe it's Solom. It's like, that company went under decades ago. So they were, yeah, but then I found out that fucking Hardin was still here, and he was a fucking dick, and we had to export him, so they could have something to do with it, with the other varying companies. We might not get much core news out here, but it seems unlikely. But I've also been thinking, the flux, the wave that cane effect produces, is a side effect, a problematic one, but isn't a destructive force. If it was, the core systems would never been able to use it. So then why are colonies collapsing because of it? Why is it chewing through systems, the kind of industrial systems set up to function without the range of a one's active cane channel? Pete's getting frustrated. The moons of Inver have been terraforming since before the collapse. They would have had to have dealt with the flux. Yet everything we have heard from the refugees say it brought down every system they had. Pig falls quiet, thinking it all through. Your mind just too, thinking of the cane channels. Those vast accusal highways that prop up the core systems and their endless appetite for resources. The systems have been quiet for decades. Some of them collapsed, most corporations gave up their claims, and apart from the cells that came in to begin on the cyber horizon, no one from the core has come here in all that time. You shiver as you imagine the attention of the core. The system of logic and exploitation that created your suffering, turning towards the Helion system, a floodlight turned into the dark corner. A shrill bleep catches both of your attention, and Peak rushes the screen. One shows a crude map of the station. On it, individual markers begin to flare with insistent chirps. Peak looks puzzled for a moment, and then their face draws. No, that doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna guess it's bad news. The flux nodes are appearing somewhere on the station, Peak pulls out the hair. I set this system to alert me of flux nodes near the epicenter of the flux event, but these are everywhere. The hub, the low winds, the shipyard. How can this happen? The only reason we saw flux nodes here is because of the most rundown parts of the station. They were barely shielded, but others appearing so far after the event? Peak turns to you. You're gonna need to give me that data from those nodes, and quickly. I'll keep looking at what I have here, but I need to know why they're popping up everywhere. Right now? Right now. We can talk more of the cane channel and system history when you're back, but this needs our attention right now. Peak turns quickly to the monitor, their eyes following scrolling screens of code spewing in the newly flux nodes. You leap quickly, but struggle to shake the image of the spotlight from your mind. You feel watched as you cross across the pilgrim seat on your way to the shuttle bay. You hurry onward, eager to outrun the fear. Ah, shit. We got nodes. Fucking nodes, man. But we have the dice. So it's not in the greenway, but they've actually hit the main channels of everything, which is crazy. Salvage, flux node. Alright, a little bit, buddy. Alright, what's one node? Real quick while I'm here, let me Emphas? Yeah, just one ball. How's it, my boy? I didn't know. I'm just hunting down these flux nodes. Alright, gotta go. Flux node. Five, but a 6 will work. thing. And where's the last one? Let me go up. There it is. 4. But the 6 will work. You said you needed that shit right now? Come on. Come on. I got that shit immediately. Let's go. Yeah, I really know my way around this place. It's very helpful. There you go. Flux data. You watch as Peak works on the flux data. The nodes unfolding like flowers now, giving in to Peak's increasingly sophisticated decoding protocols. Seeing data like this, as an image on the screen, is almost unrecognizable representation to you. It is nothing like swimming among nodes and threads. Despite this, Peak has proven themselves to be more than able to handle these complex data structures, even through the limited representational paradigm. The bay door hisses, interrupting your flow, though. You turn to see Ash entering. I haven't seen Ash in so long. She looks out to me, her eyes, and does her spot. Ash looks into the bay, head down. She looks tired, and not able to talk. Yeah, thanks. How's the weapon hunt? Big ass without turning the screen. Slow, unsuccessful, tedious. Ash slams it back down in the crane, hops on to sit on it. You still unpicking balls of yard? With the sleepers help. They brought me some good stuff this cycle. Maybe they could help you find the weapons you were smuggling. It's clear that Edge doesn't appreciate Wes's tone. You need help. Uh-huh. I mean, whoever took them better be making the most of their rapidly shortening lifespan right now. No, Ash, we thought about this. You can't just kill them. This is my mistake, Peak, and I'll fix it how I want. Ash holds her out. I know one of the factions of the Flotilla are taking them. I just need to find out. Peak holds on. Shh. Son of a... Oh no. They hid it in the wake of the wave. Peak said, it's alive. They lean back in the chair. Alive? Well, it's growing, it's processing, it's quietly working away in the dark. Look. You cross over the screen and stand beside Ash. In it, you can see the Peak has all 4 nodes decoded and the patterns of shadows from inside them sit on the screen like dark stains. Then you notice it, the movement, the thin threads cross from one stain to another. As you watch, you notice the movement only ever happens in your peripheral vision, as if the sting, the shadow, knows it's being watched. This is how the other flux nodes appeared. They weren't fluxed by the wave, they were corrupted after the fact. The thing, the shadow that entered in the wake of the wave, it corrupted them, but it made the corruption look like the results of the flux. It's a sleight of hand. Peak runs a hand through their hair. The flux wave is so massive, so complex that it opens up the system to be attacked, and it reconfigures the exposed system the shadow is broadcast in, implanted inside. The wave from the Kane channel is a brute force wave hitting every system of Hellion. Once the systems are vulnerable, Peak looks pale, their eyes reflect the screens. The flux isn't what's attacking the system, it's the siege weapon, a Trojan horse. Then this thing takes over. Peak sits back in the chair, and it's already on the eye. Wait. You're telling me there's a Kane channel in this system? Shit, Peak isn't listening. This is bad. We had to take this to someone. Peak looks desperate at you. How do you take this to? Honestly, Helena probably has the best connection to things. Soul is, well, I don't think Soul really has the capabilities to really deal with something like this. Like, Helena actually has the capabilities to deal with this. And, I mean, I know Fang. Fang's part of Havenage, and Fang's great with these sort of things. So, honestly, I think we gotta talk to Helena. Is that why? Since Havenage hasn't exactly made good decisions lately. They are the station administrators, guys. They need to know. The argument raised between them, and as you watch them shouting, you feel sick. After a while, they stop, running out of things to say, and unsettling silence descends in the bay. I need more time, he said. I need to look at solutions, try to build a case, collate the evidence. We mess this up. I look down at her hands. Ash goes to speak and then thinks better of it. Not a word, Sleeper. Peak makes your eyes. Don't tell anyone until they are ready. They sigh, with the tension among the refugees. Soul won't be ready to hear this either, and Helena and Houndage are still mirrored in some kind of crisis. Yep, they're still they're still trying to rebuild their image. With all happenings, they are likely to react badly, and even with the Flotilla stabilized, Soul is also not going to react well to this. I need time to build a case. You're too twisted up in this, Peak. This is not our place. We don't owe. Stop. Esh. Stop. You lead them like that, exhausted and troubled, and then head back onto the Pilgrim Seed. When you close your eyes, you think of those shadows, the movement of the edge of your vision, something dark, growing in the station, like a parasite. You feel sick, your vision blurs. What comes next? You stop in the corridor and take a breath, putting a hand on the rumbling metal wall. For now, the eye keeps spinning. For now. Hey, upgrade point. That's... Yes, sir, that's 3. You know what that means. Bam! That's another +2 right there. That's another +2. Alright. The only thing is Endure. Endure is the only thing that we have to do. So it looks like 2 cycles. Oh! Never mind. We're done! We did it! The Refugees episode is complete. And it looks like in 2 cycles we'll enter the final part, Purge. In that case, I'll just get, you know, to right before for the beginning of the next part of it. But it looks like we're done. That was long, and it was good too. It was like I learned a lot about fucking the 3 Ember primary moons and just the situation of Solomon Sensen building a essentially warp gate to allow for quick instantaneous transportation between. A lot of cool stuff. It was like a lot of cool shit. And it's like Sol, Aki, and Peter from only 1A is actually pretty cool. And just their deep sort of generational hatred for one another, or you know, grievances between because of the things that they've had to go through because of it. But that's gonna be it. I'm glad that I've had Dear Sleeper. I hope that you've enjoyed so far and everything and are kind of wrapped into the story, because I am very excited to see kind of how we're going to deal with this new apparent, like, somewhat sentient parasitic code that's just running through the eye, that's trying to sort of take over and take everything down, destroy everything, and why it is, and see if we can actually find a way to put a stop to it. But I am SS Cannon. This is Citizen Sleeper, and I will see you guys next time. Later.